Mr. Sternberg, you're recognized, and please proceed.
Good afternoon, Board Member Sowell. Can you hear me?
Absolutely can, sir.
Thank you. The new clock is fabulous, so I don't need my 30-second warning. I promise I'm watching it. Sir,
Very
I
good.
do want to thank you for appearing at the Joint Judiciary Committee. I enjoyed learning about you and your positions, and there was a lot of insight there about what's going on and what's going to go on in the future, and I appreciate that. I also want to thank, I saw the General Counsel in the background. Thank you for your appearance there too. And Leah, thank you for not vindictively interfering in what I'm doing here, unlike what most government workers do. I really appreciate that, even though I haven't had a chance to talk to you ever. And Louisa, of course, always thank you. The previous speaker was right, of course. There is a lot of rhetoric. We got to get things moving, and we got to get them moving quickly. I talked about why the Inspector General is not a good idea. I know that was a particular interest of yours, Board Member Sowell. I hope you go back and look at the public comments that I made on that. I know this is the Finance Committee, so that's what I want to talk about. You guys talked at the Joint Committee of the Judiciary about financial troubles. Well, in one aspect, the money's right there for you to go get. I'm looking at the State Bar Court of California, Business and Professions Code, section 6086.10, authorizes the imposition of, excuse me, discipline costs in disciplinary matters. Perhaps if you weren't kicking out all the discipline investigations and not doing them, you might be able to recoup some costs. I would also strongly suggest, if it doesn't exist already, that you find some way of obtaining sanctions from attorneys who are disciplined or disbarred. The judges that are running the civil courts do not routinely impose sanctions, and they do not routinely follow any rules or laws. So that is not a mechanism for litigants to protect themselves, but that could be a mechanism for the bar to go and earn some money. Send investigators out to any family court in the state and just sit in the courtroom. I promise you, any courtroom, pick one at random, you will see felonies and professional misconduct committed all day long. I believe a snitch rule was recently passed, or it's still in the works, requiring attorneys to report misconduct of one another. I think attorneys should be required to report the misconduct of judges as well. Lastly, I want to say that the non-lawyer board members should not passively take the advice or instruction of any lawyer board members. I think the lawyer board members, or lawyers in general, do not have the authority that society has granted them in terms of what the law is and what the law isn't. I can't tell you how many Stanford graduates I've seen who have no idea what basic due process is. And I'm going to run out of time on my last point, so I'll bring it up at the main board member meeting. But again, thank you for at least allowing me to speak. I think this is an important part of transparency. And of course, I post my comments on my YouTube channel at Father in Exile. Thank you.
Mr. Sternberg, as always, appreciate your comments, and I will take the time to take a look at your comments relative to the Inspector General.